This is for week 6 for science. We're going to be doing 2 different experiments. We're going to be starting with number 65, fooling your tongue. You're going to go through the scientific method with your students: question, research, hypothesis, experiment, analysis, and conclusion. And we're going to be talking about taste and smell and how smell can affect our taste. So you're going to start out discussing with the students some different jobs that people have and the senses that they need to use to do those jobs. And you can, I have quite a few questions here at the beginning, and you can decide how many of those you want to do with the students. And it will lead up to, did you know that some people's jobs depend on their sense of smell? And you're going to ask your students, can you think of any jobs that would require you to use your sense of smell? And so hopefully they will come up with chef, perfumer, food scientist. You're going to ask, how about a food scientist? A food scientist's job is to make sure the packaged foods we buy out of the stores appeal to our sense of taste, smell, and texture. And I also am going to include, I have a bunch of pictures here, and we're going to print these up so that you will have them. You're going to ask, what is this fellow doing? And it's a sommelier, and he is sniffing wine. And you're going to go through how he does his job with his sense of smell. You're going to ask, what is this man doing? This is a perfumer, and he is, of course, smelling different sample sticks of various odors. Then we're going to go into how about taste. Can anyone think of a job that might depend on your sense of taste? We know, of course, that there are food scientists and chefs. We're going to talk about how many of you have seen the Disney movie Ratatouille, and we have a picture for that so they can see that, and the rat, of course, smelling what he is cooking. The rat in the story turns out to be the chef extraordinaire. The interesting thing is that in the movie, the rat never tastes the food he's actually creating. He only creates and smells. So we're going to talk about wondering if there's something to that. So then we're going to get into our question and purpose. The purpose of the science experiment is to determine how our sense of smell can affect how we taste. Do these senses affect flavor? Who knows what the nose knows? So research, what have you already learned? You can talk with your students about the different senses from cycle 1, sight, hearing, taste, smell, and touch. And our hypothesis is going to be the rat in Ratatouille relied on his sense of smell to determine if things would taste good. Do you suppose this is true only for a movie rat, or does a person's sense of smell matter in how much they enjoy their food? And so for the experiment or the procedure, the materials you're going to have are apple slices, vanilla extract, there'll be an eyedropper in there, and cotton balls. And you're going to give each of the students an apple slice and have them take a bite, chew it, and swallow it. And then you're going to take their cotton ball. Each of the students are going to get a cotton ball. You're going to put several drops of vanilla onto the cotton ball, and then you're going to have them really inhale and smell the vanilla, and you're going to have them take another bite of the apple while they're smelling the vanilla. And then you're going to ask them how many thought the first apple tasted different than the second apple. What did the first apple taste like? And hopefully they're going to say like an apple. And then you're going to ask them, what did the second apple taste like? And hopefully they'll answer something like vanilla. Some people have said it tasted like a caramel apple. But hopefully they will come to the conclusion that they didn't taste the same. So your conclusion would be your tongue has nerve endings in the taste buds on your tongue that allow you to identify 5 different basic tastes: sweet, sour, salty, bitter, and savory. There's also a diagram that shows them taste buds and the tongue. That'll be a good one to show them. Other taste sensations are due to your sense of smell. This is why the second apple tasted like the vanilla. Some people have trouble with their noses so that they don't have a very good sense of smell. And you can talk with them about how those people may not enjoy food as much as those of us who can smell really well. We also have a little Calvin and Hobbes comic, which kind of goes along with that, so you can show them that. And then a lot of people, or a lot of how we perceive taste is dependent on our sense of smell. And if your sense of smell is blocked for some reason, then the foods you eat won't taste as wonderful. So that'll be the first part. The second part is number 66, Trickery. And this is a fun one. This is going to go over our sense of sight and how it can be tricked. So when you start out, you can say, remember how we were talking about our senses today? And you can go over the 5 senses again if you want. In our last experiment, we talked about taste and smell. Now we're gonna learn that things aren't always as they appear. Some optical illusions can trick our eyes. We're gonna learn more about optical illusions, and then we're gonna demonstrate one. So you can go over with the students what is an optical illusion, and the definition of that is right here in your script, something that deceives the eye by appearing to be other than it is. What things your eyes judge or misjudge. And so I've got several examples, so you can, and these are included, so you can just go through and take the time to show these to them, and these will be included. So the research part of it is going to be, what have you learned about your sense of sight after looking at these pages? Sometimes our eyes can be tricked. Do you know how your eyes see? And I've included on here a link for a YouTube video that's really cute. If you want to look at it ahead of time, you can, just to see if you think your class would enjoy it. And it also might depend on just how much time you have at this point. Hypothesis. Let's guess how our eyes will work. If we draw 2 lines that are equal in length and parallel, but the arrows on the ends of one line face inwards and the arrows on the other line face outwards, will the lines look equal in length? So that's going to be our experiment. The materials you're going to have for this are paper, pencil, ruler, and you're going to have the students draw 2 lines equal in length. Here in the instructions I have 4 inches long. You can do however long you want, but both lines should be the same length. And then have them draw arrows on each line. One set is going to be facing inwards and the other one's going to be facing outwards. And then you're going to have them tell you in your analysis of results, what did you observe about the lines and arrows. The V's pointing inward are going to appear longer, even though we know both lines are the same. This visual trickery is called an optical illusion. And this is another, we're going to include this as well. This is another one we can show which shape is larger. And of course, the blue one looks larger. And you can show them actually they are equal in size. The darker blue color makes it look bigger. So this is another good one to show them. The conclusion then would be our mind was tricked by our sense of sight. We created an optical illusion. Optical illusions are things that deceive our eyes by appearing to be something different than they actually are. Optical illusions are a good example of how our perceptions of reality can be tricked by our senses. Just like in our last experiment with flavor changing with a different scent, taste being affected by smell. So when scientists look at results, they need to make sure that what they are seeing is truly accurate. And that will wrap up week 6.